Yes,
All
sir.
right, we're live on Facebook. It's all yours.
All right. Okay. So, good morning, everybody. This is Lawrence Kazan Cassini. I'm in Florida, and today's Friday, June 26th. We just passed the longest day of the year, which was the June 21 or 21st or 22nd. And so now the days theoretically start getting shorter again. Um, and we're halfway through the year. Just little reminder that time flies. So the slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. That's our friend Og Mandino. So today I'd like to talk about just two things: focus and distractions. So when we talk about distractions, then it's something that can become a problem. And we talk about focus, and that also can become a problem. So the best thing to do is see things as they are, not better, not worse. So this week, Wendy Berman posted something on Healthcare Alliance, which made me reflect, made me think about what she said. She wrote that she was depressed. She was going through depression, and I thought, oh, that's terrible. So I called her and I wanted to talk to her because I wanted to know that, we're all here, we're all a team, and we're all part of the same group of people that is facing and looking hopefully in the right direction, in the same direction rather. So she said she was disheartened by what she'd been seeing: untruths, warped opinions. She became overwhelmed by what she was seeing on TV, confused by what she was hearing. So, it's so easy to become obsessed with something. And in this case, because we've been confined to our homes, we've got sort of house arrest, we've got a lot of time, which I want to talk about in a second. But that time, sometimes we look at things that are not really priority. And the TV is one of those things that's always there 24/7. It's in our face. So she became kind of confused and depressed and overwhelmed and by what she was seeing, which reminds me, you know, in life, I've always said we kind of walk around life in our lives with fish hooks, and we walk somewhere and we hook into something on the right here with something, whatever's going on, or we hook into something over here on the left, or we hook into problems, we hook into issues, we hook into other people's conversations, we hook into other people's uh, issues and problems and life stories and so on. So we get entangled in all kinds of issues. And then it's difficult to extricate ourselves from those issues. It reminds me, in Zimbabwe, there's a bush. It's called the Vahambiki bush. The Vahambiki bush means wait a minute bush, because when you walk through the savannah, inevitably you're going to come across a Vahambiki bush which has lot of little thorns on it. And you're walking, looking somewhere else, and you get stuck on this little bush, and it's got lots of these little thorns. And you got to stop and kind of unpick the thorns. So, it's called the wait a minute bush. In actual fact, I think, if we look at ourselves, we are a Vahambiki bush, each one of us. We are actually full of these little thorns. I was saying fish hooks, but thorns. We are a Vahambiki bush because we keep on hooking into stuff that is irrelevant, that we shouldn't even bother about. We shouldn't even worry about it. Are we going to change anything? So, you know, we've got to see what is emotionally draining. What should we engage in? And what should we avoid? What's constructive? What's positive? So 4 months ago, most of us would have said, oh, I'd love to have some time to stay home. Oh, I'd love to just stay home and enjoy our lives. Well, the wish was granted. Did we ever think it would happen? Did we ever think we would have 24/7 free time to be under house arrest and do exactly what we wanted at home? Well, here's where we have a problem, because in life, it's harder to administer abundance, harder to administer wealth than it is poverty. So when we have wealth, we can be confused. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Poverty, you know exactly what you got, and you got to make whatever you've got to make that do. So you're limited with your resources, your poverty, which could be time as well. Time is also a resource. And if it's limited, which it is, then we've got to know exactly how we're going to use it. Wealth is exactly the same thing. When we have a lot of wealth of time, we've got to know how to use it judiciously. Wealth with money, same thing. I mean, I've got a couple of things that I want to mention here. One is, I remember when at one time I was doing very, very well. And everything I saw, I wanted. I wanted a beach house. I got it. I wanted a house in the mountains. I got it. I wanted a farm to grow heliconias, which are tropical flowers. I got it. I wanted horses. I wanted an apartment in Miami. I got everything I wanted. But guess what? Was it what I needed? No, it's what I wanted. There's a big difference between what you need and what you want. So when I had all these things, I squandered my time because I had all these things and I didn't really appreciate and didn't really take advantage of any one of them. I was a bit here, a bit there, and I thought I was just loving everything. So it reminds me, this week, a friend of mine died. He worked with me when we both worked together when we were in our early 20s. And he was extremely focused. He wanted to be the best, the most glorious guy, the most well-known guy. He was on power, and that's what he did. He focused. And he died last week, and he was worth 890 million pounds. But I remember when he came to see me in Colombia when I was there, came to see me 3 days. We did some business. And he said, you know, life is amazing. He said, here I am, extremely successful. And my kids think I'm a twit. My kids don't even talk to me. They think like I'm a twit. So he was focused on what he thought he wanted. But when he looked back, he was missing out on a lot of things. Another friend of mine, Nick Raditti, he is in England, and he was at school with me and extremely shy. But he was driven by overwhelming fear of not having money. His dad was a doctor. He came from a very good home, but he had his fear drove him. The other guy was driven by wanting glory. This guy was driven by fear. And Nick is, if you Google him, is $2 billion. That's what he's worth today. I'm using these examples where we've got fear that either drives us or something else motivates us. So anyway, in the last 4 months, we've had it's been a time of time abundance. Dan Burke, who I'm privileged to work with, says, don't squander this crisis. He said that 3 months ago. How did we do on this score? Are we satisfied with our house arrest? How resourceful and productive were we? How productive are we? Are we satisfied with what we've done? You know, the seasons of life are ever changing. What new habits did we create? How did our relationships evolve? So we had ample time to be distracted. At that time, 4 months seems like an eternity, but it's suddenly over. It went in a flash. What's our new priority? We've gone from winter to summer. In fact, there are jokes about, I'm not even going to count 2020, I wasn't there. So from being on a hamster wheel to having time to introspect, retrospect, and make new plans. So when we think about that, and we think back and we say, well, we've had all this time, and we've been blessed with having all this time because it was not finite anymore. It wasn't this hamster wheel that we were on, that we had 2 hours to do this, 1 hour to do that, 4 hours to do the next thing. And we only had those 24 hours in a day to accomplish all the things we wanted to do. Suddenly, we got a windfall of time, a bonanza of time. When it's almost unlimited for the unlimited within a reasonable period, but I'm saying it's an unlimited daily time to do what we want. So what did we achieve? What are we doing? What are we doing? What have we done? What is our new WIG, wildly important goal? What is it? Light comes from conflict and challenges. And we've been undergoing, some pretty big challenges right now. So we've had time to think. There was a time when Bill Gates was in the cellar of his house, and his mom called him and said, "Bill, lunch is ready." And he said, "I'm busy." He said, what are you doing? He said, "I'm thinking." So thinking, we don't actually have to traditionally have time to think. But here we've had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to plan. Desire needs a plan and an action. We want something. What do we want? So the name of the game is focus. For things to get better, we have to get better. So the unwritten law shows that if you do more for others, you become successful. You strive for spiritual, emotional, financial well-being, adding value. What goes around comes around. Zig Ziglar. Have we thought about that? Have we been inspired by anything we've read or we've seen, or in the last 4 months, 3 months, where we've had all this time on our hands to do something? Are we fulfilled in what we've done? Are we fulfilled in what we have? Fulfilled in how we think? At some time, we all need a breakthrough. This is a moment in time when everything changes, when the impossible becomes possible and you act on it. What is the trigger that you need to get a breakthrough? Where the pain is greater than the pain to get out of where you are. We're in a state of painful situation. And we need a bigger pain to get us out of that situation. Otherwise, we stay in the comfort zone. So the refocus on new goals right now. Shake off the confusion of the past 4 months. Regroup. Find a new wig. So thinking about this, the company has actually increased its sales in a whole range of products up to 40%. In our group, we've got, and this is what's exciting, when you look at your team, you look at the people that are around you, the people that surround you, your circle of influence, the people you know. Some of them have kind of got stuck in the Vakambiki bush, and the others have looked around and said, wait, let's do something different. What can we do that's different, that's that's exciting in our business? How can we progress? We can't go out, but we've got all the tools we need. We've got internet, we've got Zoom, we've got connections. And what are the other people doing? They're in the same boat. We're in the great big equalizer. There are hundreds of thousands of physicians and healthcare professionals and everybody else who are at home. What have they got? Time. Time to do what? To look at what we've got. Give them another opinion. Give them some new information. Give them something they haven't had time to look at. Read the Katie report. Read some of the studies. They've never had time to do that. Well, now they did. Now they do. So it's an opportunity. It's a wonderful opportunity. So, you know, I think there are millions of people right now looking for some guidance. I mean, really, you look at, I read quite a lot of different things and magazines and books and so on. And they're now talking about a new pandemic of depression, a new pandemic of confusion, a new pandemic where people are, they're kind of shell-shocked because people love what's known. They love to be able to follow something, to do what's, but we're in uncharted waters. We're told one thing, we're told to do one thing by some people, we're told to do something else by somebody else. What are we supposed to do? It's all uncharted water. So that makes it even more confusing. So when we look at focus and we look at distractions, the distractions that we have, even though we're confined to home, they're all around us, but we can choose to be focused or we can choose to be distracted. It's our choice. The opportunities are unlimited. The company still operates. I've never missed a shipment of my life pack or all the stuff my wife buys. I must confess I use some of this skin stuff too. I mean, I've used the Baobab. I like to swim in that stuff. But the company continued. Nothing's changed for us. I heard a call this morning, and the call this morning was just how privileged we are, because we've got, in Europe and here, we've got the possibility of continuing our business in a unique way. Unique way. Nobody should complain about not being able to achieve what he or she wants. We've got it. We've got everything. The tools are there. So furthermore, we've got all these hundreds of thousands, millions of people who are all kind of fluttering around now trying to find something. And in the world of the blind, the person with one eye is king. We have everything we need to improve the lives of others and so improve our own lives. I was just telling Scott, we've got people that during the close down, clamp down or whatever we want to call it, we're placing scanners. In our group, we've got several that have actually managed to place, in one group, we've got 12 scanners placed in the close down. Why? Because when you're faced with a challenge, you've got to be creative and find ways of going ahead. The people that are doing on the new skin, a lot of the products the sales have shot way up this last 3 months, because we're all in the same boat, but we all have different ways of steering our sales and the ways that we can overcome the storm. The main thing is the focus, get rid of the distractions. Don't worry about the distractions. Choose what you want, because that's what we can do. So I just wanted to, without going on and on about the same thing, but the focus is important, and it's a daily thing we've got to do, because it's like the pilot on a plane. He's taking off from Miami and he's going to Rome. And if he doesn't tweak the course every few minutes, just 1 degree from Miami off course to Rome, he's going to end up in Moscow. And it's the same with our lives. We've got to keep tweaking. We've got to we've got to know where that compass is. We've got to keep focused on that north where we're going, or south or east, or wherever we're going. But we've got to keep tweaking that. So basically, that was what I have to say this morning. It's food for thought. It's exciting times, because we've got these limitations, because we've got these challenges. That's what makes us creative. It helps us with building our relationships at home, helps us building whatever we need to do at home. My wife has become an amazing gardener. I had no idea. She didn't know either. We've got a whole vegetable patch going. Great stuff. Really cool. So take advantage of this time, and readdress if you need to. Find your wig. We're now halfway through this 2020. What are we going to do for the next 6 months? From next week, we have a new trip that we can go on, that we can qualify for. Are you interested to take your team on that? I know some of the people on here went to South Africa, have been to all different types of trips. It's about the team. It's about working with them. So what are we going to focus on? So we can focus on, the limitations we have, or we can focus on the unlimited possibilities we have. It's just a perception. Just a perception. The company's there to back us. The products are there. The team is there. Build your team. Amazing. More time to have webinars. I'm doing like 5 or 6 webinars a day with different groups of people. And it's fun. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm in shorts. So look at this as a time of fun. Readdress the distractions, get rid of them, and just be absolutely positive and focused on what you're doing. That's what I have today. Scott, I don't know if you'd like to add something, or if you're there. I think Scott gets.
I'm here, Lawrence. I think you said it perfectly. Right now is such a good time to, really to focus on what you're doing. Yes, do it a little bit differently than we did before, but I think we're all used to that now. We're used to looking at life a little bit differently. We've been forced to, but we definitely have a business to really grow right now. And you're right. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun, and we're glad to be a part of it. Thanks for all you do, Lawrence.
No, thank you. And his example. I mean, Scott Bennett is in Las Vegas. Some of you guys are in California. I'm in Florida. How exciting is it that we can get together in virtually like this with anybody else that we want in our teams, people that we recruit. I mean, the pharma medical reps right now, oh my gosh, they're so hungry, because they've all been, many of them have been laid off again. The doctors are at home. Now they've stopped elective surgeries again in some of the states. Back home you go, doc. You're not making any money while you're sitting at home. Oh, elective surgery? Look for those. get on LinkedIn and look for those. Look on Facebook. It's just so exciting and it's overwhelming with the possibilities we've got. And we've just got to do it. Take it, grab it, find your wig, a new wig. Focus and get rid of the distractions. Throw away the little thorn bush that we've got, the Vahanbiki bush. So thanks for being on today. Scott, if you've got anything else, I just wanted
I
to
think we're good.
focus. The point of this was to make it focused and not distracted.
That sounds great. Hold on. Let me unmute everybody. No, it's not letting me unmute. So